friendly, yeah. But something went wrong, the signals got crossed, and now we're on completely different pages. Let's go where we were, where no one gets hurt.
I'm back. So, I didn't want to wait till 7 o'clock tonight to have this live, so I'm just going to do it and get it over with right now. But I was having a conversation with my best friend, and we are people that love to kind of go like deep beyond, just to kind of like see what's down in that area. So we were talking about broken relationships and the lost art of communication, and I finally understand why the world is in the place that it's in today. It's because we don't communicate anymore. And you probably asking, what do you mean we don't communicate anymore? Being near someone is a form of communication. When you were first born, the first thing a baby does, or the first thing that parents do, is that they talk to the baby, right? That's a form of communication. It's an art because we all are different. We all sound different. We come from different backgrounds, so we have different accents, the way that we pronounce things. We are all very different. But when we speak to people, it's like music to our ears, right? So when you're looking at this baby for the first time, you are expressing that art of communication. So language, or I guess vibrations, however you want to call it, is our first love. To be honest, it is. It has to be. Because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything is vibrations. So it just has to be. Yeah, it just has to be. But that's not the point. And I feel like, so with the lost art of communication, I think that goes hand in hand with broken relationships, is because people don't take the time to get to know one another. A lot of us are out here just asking, what can you do for me? Instead of, who are you? So when you're asking the person who they are, you're getting a snippet or blueprint as to who they are. Not saying that it's completely true in the beginning, but at least you have a blueprint because you have had that conversation to what to expect from other people. So this is how we notice red flags. This is how we notice if things are not going in the way that we would like for it to go. But because we lost that sense of communication, this is where the broken relationships and the lost art of communication is coming in. Everyone does things in a very quick and hasty way when it comes to cell phones, right? Cell phones is used to keep us disconnected. We abbreviate when we are texting or when we're writing out things to people, right? And we're not taking the time to sit down and to learn, or to learn something, or to learn that person. Hey, handsome. So with that, I lost my train of thought. So with that, when it comes to the lost arts of communication, that's what we got to get back to. We got to get back to sit down having these conversations with people. It was something else I was going to say. Let me think about it. Give me a second. Trying to think about it. Hold on, y'all. See if it'll come to me. Yeah, so basically I was talking about the lost arts of communication, and how it's so important to make sure that we communicate with each other. And the example that I use is cell phones. We are so disconnected from one another that we allow a cell phone or some kind of a energetic apparatus to kind of take control of ourselves and our lives. And I say that because when we're using cell phones, when we're using computers, people are like, oh, well, I don't have to see them. I have access to my cell phone. I have access to my computer. I can FaceTime. I can Google Duo. I can WhatsApp. I can do all these things. But it's creating a separation from us. It's creating a disconnection from us because we're allowing these electronics to take precedence to us. So if we remove all of these electronic things, cell phones, computers, and all that stuff, and we actually get to talk and learn one another, That's where the real love is going to come in. And that's why we're so disconnected right now. We're disconnected from everything. We're disconnected from the art of communication. That is our first love. And I was saying, because I was on here talking to myself for a while, and I was saying the art of communication is our first love. It is, because when a baby is born, what is the first thing a mother or a father do? It holds the baby in their hand and they goo goo and gaga over them. But don't you have to use your voice? Don't you have to project so that way the baby can hear what you're saying? So the art of communication is just that. It is an art. It's a lost art because we are so disconnected from everything. Does this make sense now? Why they want us to be so divided and conquered? They don't want us together. It's because we are disconnected as a whole. So to get back to connecting, you got to be around people. So again, because of this lack of communication, it all started with the cell phone. Not even a cell phone. Let's go back a bit. Let's do beepers and payphones. Around the 90s, 80s, 90s, 80s and 90s, beepers was the it thing. It was everybody had a beeper. I wanted a beeper. My parents like, no, you too young, you can't get one. Okay, cool. But the art of communication wasn't so lost there. And it wasn't so lost there because people still had to meet up with people. Hey, I'm going to call you. I'm going to meet you at such and such for 4 o'clock and da-da-da-da. Okay, let's meet up at blah, blah, blah at 10 o'clock. Okay, so the art of communication still wasn't lost because we still had to physically meet up with people. We had to be connected to people, right? But as technology progressed, the art of communication started to disconnect. Because now we have beepers, so now we have something that's on us all the time and we can always be available, right? But we're starting to disconnect, right? Hear me out. Now we have cell phones that's coming in, right? Cell phone didn't have those picture phones or picture videos and stuff yet, right? Hey, Nidra, they didn't have that stuff yet. Now all those things are coming. Now we're starting to see people less and less. Now we're starting to hang less and less because now we got this new thing and we're in our phone. Got this game, snakes, shoots and ladders, all that stuff. We got all that in the phone, right? Now they bringing out something even more advanced. Cameras and this. And remember when we got your first camera phone? And who would have thought we would have ever spoke on a phone like this? I'm having a conversation with you through wherever you are in the country. Now we're having these bigger things where we can talk to you like this. But there's no connection. So we started off with the cell phones, or even way before, we could do horse and buggies and stuff. There was a connection. There was a face-to-face, energetic human being connection. As time progressed, as years progress, as things progress, we're allowing other things to disconnect us. I'm going to say that again. We are allowing other things to disconnect us. Cell phones, computers, FaceTime, Google Duo, WhatsApp, Google Meet, Google Hangout. Pay attention. We are disconnected for a reason. Think about it like this. If you were to take someone's phone, or let's say the internet clipped you ain't got no internet, you disconnected, your cell phone's disconnected from the towers, how are you going to feel? Oh my God, you're going to feel like it's the end of the world because you're disconnected, right? So something that's disconnecting you're disconnected from, that's not going to be a nice feeling. But if you go outside and you connect correctly with Mother Gaia. And once you are finished disconnecting, meaning you finish meditating, you finish planting your feet in the soil, you're just finished. How do you feel? You feel great. You feel re-energized. You're not angry. You feel like you could conquer the world. You feel like you're living on cloud 9 every day. But we're disconnected from something that wants us disconnected, and we blow our top. This is affecting us emotionally. physically, it's affecting us in so many ways that a lot of people can't see. Again, because we're so disconnected from reality. We are so disconnected from reality. That's why all these things are going on. And that happened when technology arrived. Do y'all remember each other's phone numbers? You know your mom's phone number by heart? I still know it. I still know my dad's. I still know everybody's. But can you sit down and really think of 5 people's numbers? Do you remember that? And I'm telling you, because I asked my best friend, I said, you know my phone number? She was like, not the new one. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm talking about new. This number that I have that she's saying is new is 10 years old. So it's not new. My cell phone number is 10 years old. So it's not new. But she's saying it like, like it just came out yesterday. So again, everything is all interconnected. And if you're trying to figure out why you are having issues with broken relationships, again, it's because we lost the art of communicating. Remember when you can sit down and have tea with people and have a face-to-face conversation and hug people and stuff like that? That's when you saw more love, you saw more togetherness. People want you locked up and just stay in there and don't listen and don't question anything. Let's picture it like this. What do you think can happen in a room of 500 people that don't know each other, right? Everybody just in the room, lights on, they looking around trying to figure out what's up. 500 people versus 2 people in the next room over. Well, the 2 people that's in the room, they're going to look at each other. They don't know each other, so they're not going to say nothing. But out of 500 people in the other room, there got to be at least 5 people in there that's going to start something and break the ice. Now we're connecting, right? Or let's just put it this way, that one person in that room of 500 started something. Now you have 2, 3, 4. So now that first person that took the initiative to say something, now it's starting to spread. Now we're connecting because I heard this from such and such and this and this and this and this. Now it's connecting. So what do you think could happen when we connect more instead of being so diverse and just not together? Again, we've lost the art of communication. And that's coming back. Oh, trust, it's coming back. The art of communication is coming back. Remember, that is our first love. That's one of the first things we learn when we take our first breath. Because when you come out your mom's stomach, when your mom deliver you, first thing mom or dad do, they look at you and they start to speak to you. Again, the art of communication. Oh my God, my baby is so cute. She's so pretty, or he's so handsome, blah, 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 blah. That is our first love, art of communication. Just me speaking to someone that's watching me right now on live, we don't sound the same. You have a different dialect. You may have a different accent. You may have a twang to your accent. Sound different. We live in the States, and all 50 states sound completely different. I feel like the art of communication is a song that we knew, that we once knew, and that we allowed other things to disconnect us. We don't understand that anymore, because we're allowing other things to take precedence and allowing that to do it for us instead of we doing it for ourselves, which is why we're so lazy now. We're procrastinating. Hell, like I was saying before, you're in your text, you're texting, you're abbreviating the way that you're speaking to people. Yesterday, I do it too. Listen, but I'm just giving you an example. I do it as well too. There's shortcuts, there are hacks to everything. There's no unity anymore because they don't want a connection with us. That's the real battle that we're fighting, the connection. Once we put down our phones, once we go outside, once we have connection, once we talk to people and stuff like that, you're beginning to see people's point of view. Not saying you have to agree with it, but that's the art of communication. How are you going to know what someone is feeling like if you don't speak to them? Again, things get wrong, things go awry on a cell phone, because if you're having a conversation and you know, maybe you mistook something for what they said, oh, you trying to be smart, you trying to be funny, but in reality they weren't trying to be funny, it was just the way they wrote in the text message. You won't know, because you lost the art of communication. You lost that connection to that person. So how would you physically know if what they wrote is lining up to how they're feeling? We got to put the phones away. We do. The cell phones, the computers. And we have to get back to this.